I don't know if it felt that way to you or not, but I am glad that football is back, man, and I'm feeling really good about the Cowboys, and I'm excited about the season.
Got you, man. Yeah, listen, me too. Super, super excited about the season. And I just started coaching again. So I'm not gonna lie to you. I came in the house
Hmm.
and I took like one of them naps where you just been in the sun all day. You ever taken a nap or gone to sleep and you don't know how you got there?
Yeah, and you wake up like, what the? Yeah, I've had those. I haven't had time to take naps. In fact, I've been rather busy this off season and things. I'm going to be splitting time between here and home for the games and things like that. So I've been trying to set up a little setup here and get that stuff ready because I think this is going to be a season to remember.
Gotcha. Hey, our brother Daniel says he misses us, man. We miss him too, bro.
Oh,
Yeah.
Daniel, man, definitely miss seeing you, bro. Especially your wife's cakes. Those cakes are off the chain. You know, my birthday's around the corner, and I would love to have another one of those cowboy cakes.
Absolutely. Well, look, I guess the Cowboys got to show up and show out for us to get any type of special treatment, right?
Yeah, I'm going to ask you because I know after last year, it was ugly. Okay.
Okay.
There's still some people out there that don't forgive you, but, because you were like, I'm sick of this shit.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sick of
yeah.
the way they treat players and everything else. Should we believe in this shit?
I think so, man. And I think it's a different energy, man. I think the biggest thing for me is I was going through I was going through a death in the family, and really I just was trying to appreciate people. And I
Hmm.
felt like how the Cowboys were doing business, I just felt like they weren't appreciating people. And it was kind of triggering at a time. And I was really cutting off any and everybody that I felt like uh just wasn't on that type of kick. And it just so happened to be the Cowboys. And so now that I got a chance to sit back, and I think that they got humbled as well,
Hmm.
and you know they learned from it. And if people can forgive me, I can forgive the Cowboys, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think last year, in order to affect change, you actually have to hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever dealt with anybody who's had an addiction or, problems and things. And until they actually hit rock bottom, they don't want to have any help. The things that give me hope is one, Jerry Jones hasn't fucked it up yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
He's giddy about the season. He's saying the right things. And the fact that we don't actually have drama, I'll be real with you. I'm now understanding what it's like to be a YouTuber for another team because, they don't have the kind of drama that we normally do. I mean,
Uh-huh.
remember last year, every question was about Micah Parsons. How much is
Yeah.
Micah Parsons going to get? Is he going to get, get in before training camp? Jerry Jones, and we had a deal and he reneged on it and everything else. And fuck the agent, all that kind of stuff. Or Zach Martin holding in, or Dak Prescott coming back from a hamstring injury. For the team to have 91 guys get in without anybody going on pup list is insane. And the
Yeah.
fact that George Pickens, it's funny how everybody thought that George Pickens was, going to be this big cancer and he was going to be a problem. And, oh, you franchise tagged him in. He's going to be like, your worst nightmare. Doesn't he look like he is ready to be, record breaking George Pickens? The biggest problem we got now is he keeps beating everybody and celebrating for too long.
Yeah, and also too, another big problem we have too is that George Pickens is whooping people so bad, and his energy is so good that when we see CD, sometimes we're like, I know I'm like that. I'm like, oh, okay, well, CD made a play, but George Pickens, when he makes a play, I'm like, I'm ready to jump up out my seat. You know?
Do you remember the meme where the guy's on the field and stuff and he's smiling like, hey, yeah, man, great play. And then he realizes, oh, wait a minute, that's my position. It's kind of like Jameis Winston when he found out Tom Brady was coming to Tampa Bay. Hey, that's my city, man. What you doing here? I'm here to take your job.
I'm here to take your job.
I'm wondering because there was a report that at 7:30 in the morning, CD was out on the field working the jugs.
Mm.
And I'm wondering if he's feeling a little bit of pressure there because you look at this. Now, here's what I've said all along. And now I've heard Brian Broaddus say this as well. When you look at it, George Pickens is younger. You're going to have to pay him. You got an out after next year on CD Lamb, who's getting older. CD gets 45 more yards. He's going to pass Des Bryant. What happened in the last couple of years of Des Bryant?
True. Des Bryant fell
Injuries and
off.
things, right? And you kind
Yep.
of look at it, CD, the last 2 years, he's kind of come back down to earth and had injuries. So for everybody to say, oh, well, we're just going to have George Pickens for one more year, didn't it just take us 3 years to find somebody to replace Amari Cooper?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Everybody
honestly,
we've had as a number 2 wide receiver, nobody had more than 700 yards. Bro doubled it. So why are you everybody so ready to say, oh, we're just going to have him for 1 year and let him go? I might be looking at him and saying, maybe I end up doing something with CD Lamb while there's still value with him.
mm. And look, I'm glad you said that because my guy said it all. Chris just popped in the chat, man. This guy right here is half of Frankly Football. He will tell
I
you
am. I
that
am.
he would tell you that the other half is the better half.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
But I would
Absolutely.
tell you that he's the personality, he's the charisma of Frankly Football. He's the George Pickens that we're talking about, where it's the slam dunk. I would say he's that, and he knows the wide receiver position pretty well, man. So with Mark saying all of that, set it off. How do you feel?
Well, man, first off, man, thank you guys for allowing me to kick it. Before we go any further, man, I just want to give a shout out to Mark. Mark has inspired so many of us in this YouTube space. Before we was doing anything, I was watching Cowboy Joe Boo. I was watching it every day and watching what he was doing, man. I was like, that was dope. But I also loved how he had the big like Chinese koi fish in the back. I used to
Oh,
do
yeah.
that. So when I go outside and I smoke my cigars, I'm getting my Mark Holmes on. So if the sun hadn't gone down, I'd have came on with a stick to
Oh,
salute you,
man.
man. So I appreciate you, man, for having me on.
Yeah, great to meet you, man.
Yeah, man, nice to meet you too, bro. The thing is, what you guys are saying makes sense. Okay, now Cowboy fans don't want to talk about that because at the end of the day, as Steven and Jerry would like to say, they want to go with the point where they can stretch out the money the longest. You can stretch out the money longer with George. The thing about it is, if Flournoy continues to progress, and then you got Trayshawn Holden in the wings working, it would be a more Belichickian move for them to move on from CD after he sets that record.
Yeah.
Okay, right? But for at a fan base, we wouldn't be able to do it because the things that CD does as Yak Lamb, as being able to catch the ball and get on the move and things of that nature, that's what he does. But I think when you guys were saying about CD about forgive my I got a pit bull and he'd be like to commentate too and talk about it. But I think the biggest thing what CD is in right now, I think he's more in business mode. I think last year he had a lot more drops than he had in his career. And so I think he's just kind of focusing in on let me be the best CD Lamb I can be and keep the pressure on if you in the motor words of Willie Beeman, if you're gonna trade me, waive me, or whatever you're gonna do, he got to be worth more value when he leaves. So what you guys are saying isn't left field, but I don't think a lot of Cowboy fans want to hear that.
Well, see, one of the problems with the Cowboys is they hold on to their players for too long. And you
Absolutely.
end up getting absolutely nothing for them. I mean, you could think about it. You could say D Ware. I mean, we ended up taking a cap hit. We held on
Yes.
to him, got absolutely nothing for him. What if we had traded him 2 years before? Or what if instead of paying Zeke, we had traded Zeke that last year?
I think what you,
You,
Mark,
you
I
know what
think
I'm
what you
saying?
did was, yeah, I think what you did with Zeke was the way they handled that whole situation was crazy. One, Zeke held out. He held out because he lost all his guaranteed money. When you're
Mm-hmm.
in the first contract, once you get suspended, you
Right.
lose all your guaranteed money. So now he was trying to recuperate his guaranteed money. The Cowboys had all the leverage though. They should have let him sit and let him sit and go from there because there was nothing he could do. He couldn't go anywhere. He was contractually bound by the
Right.
Cowboys. So let him sit. But I also think, yeah, that, like I said, that's a Belichickian move. That's a free agency move. You got 2 more years of greatness out of a guy, get as much value as you can from him, and get back. I mean, we just watched Myles Garrett leave, and what did they end up getting for Myles Garrett? What the Rams had to give for Myles Garrett? Like three first rounders, right?
Yeah.
So with him going away with the record, if that's their move of keeping George, but I also think the progression of the younger guys that they have that are cheap, because they're gonna have to make a decision, just not about CD and George. They got to make a decision about Rand Dakota Prescott. At 33, do you sign him again? And now you're paying 60, maybe 65 million for him. How do they feel about that?
Well, but
Because
see, hold
go
on,
ahead.
but back that up though. See, here's the thing: there is the perception that you're paying a guy $60 million a year.
Right.
His number isn't anywhere near 60. You got to look at what is the cap number and the ramifications on the cap.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
When you think about the contract before, it was like 16, 19, and 24 until it was finally that one big one. So if you do sign him to another contract, you're basically kicking it down the road. And the reality is with the salary cap going up $25 million a year, basically, and it's really going to explode in 29 because everybody and their sister right now is trying to renegotiate with the NFL to pay them more money. CBS is basically saying, we'll give you $1 billion extra a year just not to have to renegotiate in 29. Think about that for a second.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
You're looking at a salary cap that probably by 29 is going to be well over $400 million.
So do you, Mark, in that situation? You got him now. He's got 2 more years left on this deal. Do you go ahead and go to him now with George, sign him to 2 more years and kick it down the road?
I don't think Dak's gonna do it. Personally, I don't think Dak's gonna do it.
And that's the problem because of the way the Joneses have always treated him. He ain't gonna cut him no slack. So
but he's also gonna wait for the TV deals, and he's gonna wait too in order. Like he's a guy who has shown you genuinely throughout his career he's gonna bet on himself.
But you know what though? But here's one thing I'm gonna say. Because I thought before the last contract that if I was Dak, I would have went to Jerry and said, "Look, Jerry, are we going to be about something? Are we going to try and win a Super Bowl? And if we're not, just pay me a boatload of money just to take the hits and things because I want to win a Super Bowl." But he truly wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy all his life, and I think he wants to finish his career here, and I think he wants to finish it with the Super Bowl. When you look at him this year, I don't know what happened with him and his fiance. I don't know if it decided that, you know what, I'd just rather be able to get some strange and not have to have any headaches and stuff to go along with it.
Just paid his child support. Is that what
paid his child support, got my kids and everything else. But you and I both know, as much as I love my wife, I don't love everything about my wife. You know what I'm saying? and you could look at that and say
these ideas and words of these ideas and words of Mark Salone.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want my wife. She gonna check the show out and be like, "You thinking like Mark?" No, not me.
No. You know what? See, we are old enough and we've been together enough to understand because she'll tell me in a heartbeat, I don't like that shit about you. Okay, right? And she'll get mad and stuff. It's like, well, if that's the worst thing you got to deal with, you're doing pretty good. And she's like, yeah, okay, you're right. But you know what I'm saying, though? He seems laser focused and he's got no bones about saying, here's what I'm about. We're going to be the best offense out there. And he's backing it up on the field. Those dimes that he is throwing right now, and you see his players right now seemingly followed along too. Did anybody think that George Pickens was going to come in and literally look like he's in midseason form and literally look like he's a grown-ass man going against kids?
No. After the season last year, I'd say, I expected it.
Bro, now he looks like he's on an even different level. Now, people will say, well, it's the Cowboys defense and they suck and everything else. Okay, maybe that's the case. But I tell you what.
That ain't the case, though. But
I don't think that's the case. I think that he recognizes, and I think this is where Dak Prescott kind of said, look, bro, I've been franchise tagged twice. And guess what? I'm the highest paid motherfucker out here. Kirk freaking Cousin has been franchised twice. And look at how much money that motherfucker's made. Be cool. Cousins. Be cool. Cowboys like when you're loyal to them. If you're loyal to them and not throwing them under the bus, you're Cowboy for life. And there ain't no place you're going to go that's going to have me throwing that football like that and have CeeDee Lamb on the other side over there taking some of the traffic away. You're in the perfect position because if you win here, you got the career after football right here. You ain't getting that in Buffalo or with the Jets or in Arizona or the Raiders. This is where you play great and aren't a distraction. Bro, you got so much money you don't know what the fuck to do with.
They love you. They love you forever, Mark. You're spot on with that. You're right. I mean, I've said it before. Rain is the best quarterback that Pickens has had in his entire football career. His whole career.
Life.
I'm talking about since he's been playing football that he knows of it. So why would you want to part from that? And he is on a tear right now. He is playing at another level. So, and if you go somewhere else, you got to be the number one guy. You don't know if they're going to put the pieces around you. But you do pose a great point that they may just keep. Man, would it be crazy that they would turn around and trade CeeDee Lamb? That would be crazy, but it makes sense though.
Not this year. It's not this year. I'm just saying that you could look at this down the road and say,
oh, absolutely.
And the other thing I don't think people also look at too is because of all the contracts that they signed last year, you want to kind of stagger those out. And that may be the reason why they're looking at George Pickens and saying, because, people don't realize when you sign a contract, that guaranteed money leaves your account and goes into escrow to pay that player.
Right.
So you're thinking, well, he's only a $12 million cap hit. Yeah, but that guaranteed money I just wrote a check for.
That's true. That 27 million.
Jerry will let you know that too. Jerry will let you know that.
Yeah. So looking at it right now, okay, I'm writing a check for 27 million versus 100 million. I'll take basically I'll hold on to that money and I'll make interest on it till next year. And then get you next year and stuff on it. And the salary cap will go up again, of course, with the amount of international games they're doing right now. If the Cowboys are good, you can guarantee that's going to add about $5 million to every team right there.
That's true. And the thing about it also, Mark, with this defense being so young with the guys that they have, and if they continue to get better, it's just going to be able to give them the opportunity to pay those guys before they have to pay the defensive guys. Because coming up next, it's Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith is the next one that's got to get paid. Tyler Smith. My bad, Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith's the next guy that's got to get paid, and then you'll have to deal with. That's it. He's the next big one. Unless they already signed him too, right?
Tyler got signed last year.
Okay, so Tyler got signed.
Tyler Guyton, if he ends up playing, but it might be that he'll be on the 5th-year option after the season. But
so you got BB. BB's next. Would offensive lineman will be BB,
but center's not that big a hit.
Well, I think Guyton will be next because I think Guyton got drafted before them.
If Guyton shows up, that's the question.
Right.
But, I'm not gonna lie to you. He has been showing up. He almost put. It's about to sound bad, but I'm gonna rephrase it. He could have dumped Overshown today if he wanted to.
Well, speaking of Overshown, okay, I'm gonna pose a question to you guys on this one. Okay. So Overshown, who everybody loves Overshown. You love his speed. When he is healthy, he looks great.
Okay.
He basically is in a contract prove it year. Are we better off making a trade and saying, let's take a 3rd round pick and offer Miami and get Jordan Brooks? Okay. Because people have offered 6th and 5th round picks for him. Miami knows they're not going to win. They're looking, they made his contract tradable. $13 million is the worst it is the next 3 years. They'll have to eat about $18 million, but if they can get a 3rd round pick, are the Cowboys better off trading that 3rd round pick, getting him, having that contract at $13 million or less the next 3 years, and not re-signing Overshown, even if he has a good year?
Who's his agent? Who's Jordan Brooks' agent?
Mulligetta.
I'm sorry. That's a conundrum.
$13 million and Jordan Brooks was, Pro Bowler last year, All Pro.
But then you got to ask the question: when's his contract up?
They just re-signed him.
He just signed him.
They just signed him.
I think I would deal with that.
He's under contract for the next 3 years. $54 million extension.
Yeah.
Yeah, I deal with the Jordan Brooks. Honestly, yeah, I would. And it might be who Mulugeta for them to make that happen because somebody might pay Overshown. You know, they might pay him.
Mm-hmm.
For another team.
Okay.
Where here we know that bro is a tick away from maybe something happening. Like we know everything. We know all the medical history. It might be a good trade off.
Okay.
Maybe.
Bonus question into this then.
Okay.
Are the Cowboys better off trading a first and maybe a third to get Max Crosby? Or are you better off trading a third, getting Jordan Brooks, and signing Von Miller?
You're never gonna get me to give up that first because Dallas has to come here for the draft, and I'm just biased. I need a first round pick here.
I'm agreeing with you on that.
You got a first. But going back to what you said, Mark, and piggybacking off of DMV. Brandon hates our linebacking core. He's been against his linebacking core for the last 2 years. He said they're under, they haven't been able to play. They need more pieces. So if you go get Jordan Brooks, like you said, you deal with the one thing you handle one thing you don't want to deal with, which is the agent. I don't think Jerry wants to deal with Mulugeta in that manner. So
he's going to have to with George Pickens.
Yeah, I said he doesn't want to. Okay, he's gonna have to with Pickens, but I think if you get Brooks with good money, and Miami's going to take a bit of that hit, and if you give away a third, which I'm not in favor of, I'd rather get young, cheap talent. But to get a talent like Brooks for a third round pick and put him in the middle of that defense with Barham, and we know that it has been proven that Overshown staying healthy isn't one of his greater traits.
Yeah.
He wears zero great. The crowd, the fan base loves him, but his availability is always in question. So you get Brooks, you got Barham, you got Winters, and you got Shamar James. That's a solid linebacker room that you can run with.
It gives you the opportunity to say, we don't have to try and kill Overshown. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you can put him in positions, because his speed is killer. You've got a rotation now where you're not worried about a guy in the middle. And you can cut down on some of the amount of hits. Because, see, I always get thrown at because they say, oh, you're just a Dak fan and all that. But people don't seem to understand that typically we have about 8 or 9 really great players. And we play them till the wheels fall off. Usually by the time we get to the playoff, Zeke Elliott's spent. He's got a PCL injury or a hyperextended knee, or Tony Pollard's got plantar fasciitis. We're limping into the playoffs because you don't have a strong enough rotation of guys to keep all that wear and tear off of them. And that's where, if you got a rotation where, I can play Overshown, 30 or 40 plays or something like that, by the time the season ends, they're still relatively fresh. If I'm playing 60 or 70 plays a game, I'm done by the time the season's over with.
Yeah, you're done. And then you got that 3-week stretch in November with 3 games in 13 days. That is a lot to put on a guy who has had a lot of injuries. So I wouldn't have a problem with getting Brooks because of the money and the time and his age. And I just think they did such a good job this year in the draft. I think they can continue. If they can continue to do that with the new faces and the new coaching, as much as I hate trading away the future, I wouldn't be as opposed to that with getting Brooks for the third rounder.
Well, you got to try something different because we've done the same thing year after year after year after year.
Yeah.
So at some point, if they ended up, hypothetically, they ended up trading and they ended up getting Jordan Brooks and Max Crosby here, and they didn't make it to the Super Bowl, would you be mad at them because, they tried?
Honestly, I would feel better about the next year because it's all about Dak's window. It's really about maximizing Dak's window right now under the current contract. And I think that you got to be aggressive with that. And I think Jerry talked about that on his interview that was put out yesterday, where he's looking at the Rams and how they've handled their roster with having Matthew Stafford and building around that. When you got your guy, you got to go make some things shake. And
I truly believe in Dak now.
I mean, I'm with you with that. I'm just not willing to give up that first round pick because I really only have one. I only have one first round pick next year.
You don't even have a second, right? The second's gone.
Yeah,
no, we have a second.
Too.
No, we have a first, a second, a third, and a 6.
Okay. So I'm really not. I can't. There's no possible way you can bring the draft to Dallas and then I have a first round pick. So that kind of throws it out the window with whatever the Vegas is going to ask you for with Max. So I am going back to where I was opposed to Von Miller beforehand, but it's 24, 25 snaps. Yeah, it gives you kind of what you want.
Think
It does
about
give you what you want.
think about this though. Seattle's leading sacker had 7.5 sacks. And think about this too. Max Crosby, 0 playoff wins. Myles Garrett, 1 playoff win. Micah Parsons, 1 playoff win. TJ Watt, 0. And when you look at the Eagles Super Bowl team, they didn't exactly have, the top edge rushers. It's really about that interior defensive line being able to stop the run.
Absolutely. And be able to get pressure when you can. I mean, it turned around with Josh. Josh Sweat looked like, the second coming, and it was just because they had the great pressure inside. So, but you maybe can manufacture that with the guys you already have, with Gary, with Izaraku, with Lawrence.
Well,
So if you get Von Miller, like you said, at 30 snaps, I think that works for you in your favor.
Plus Barham too, because
yeah,
he
he's
is
big.
kind of a hybrid edge Mike linebacker. Which, if you look at what we've had at linebacker in the past, I don't know that we've had a linebacker with that set of tools,
And
with that size.
No, not with that size. Not with that
Yeah,
size. I don't know because I think he's I think he's 6'4", right?
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think Micah's like 6'2".
Now,
Michael was
here's the
6'2".
thing. Once you think about this, Micah Parsons did a lot with nothing to back
Mm-hmm.
him up. Okay. A wise man once said to me, when you control the middle of the field, you control the field. And
Okay.
here's the thing. Because we were always so soft in the middle, quarterbacks could always step up and get washed past them.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterbacks aren't going to be able to do that this year because we will get penetration with Kenny Clark and with Quentin Williams and things.
Yeah.
The quarterbacks are going to be having that pressure come in the face, which they hate, which helps your edge rushers because they don't have to go so shallow on the rushing because the quarterback can't step up. They will be more effective because of the interior defensive lineman. If you're saying to me, which would I rather have? Max Crosby will feast with that defensive line. I'm not going to say he's not, but I'd rather make sure that I've got the man in the middle that can really support the run. You can look at it. You can blame Dak all you want, but we had 13 penalties and we couldn't stop the run with Marquez Bell playing linebacker. You've got, I'm sorry. If we could have stopped a few running plays, if we had Bobby Wagner there, we probably win that game. But I want that middle of the field. I need that linebacker to control that midway right there.
Hey, speaking of which, man, because I wanted to segue to something I saw today. Shout out to No C for this clip right here.
Mm-hmm.
Stopping the run. Y'all see our first round pick, Caleb Downs, right here, stepping in here. We just got so many different types of players with different skill sets that allow us to really fit the run like we hadn't in the past. Like, how do you guys feel when you see like a Caleb Downs come in and make an impact like this?
Oh man,
Go ahead, Mark. Go
you
ahead.
know how many DMV? We've been friends for a long time. Remember how long we were looking for safety, where they just didn't believe in interior defensive linemen and they didn't believe in safeties.
Absolutely.
And typically, they really didn't believe in, well, they basically looked at a guy like Tyrone Crawford and say, he can play defensive end and tackle. We like those tweeners. We like those guys with position flex. I need a guy who can fill the hole just like he does. Shout out to Rob A in the house. Appreciate you.
That's what's up.
And I'm going to tell you, here's a little difference, and this is a bitch slap on the Eagles at the moment. Now, granted, my buddy Dan Saleo likes to put gasoline on a fire. But one of the things that they've done is with Stoutland being gone is now they basically are changing all the terminology. So their offensive line, they're having problems because they're not getting the calls down. So now they're spending all this time here. And what'll happen is they're going to be looking at this offensive coordinator and things. They're going to say, this motherfucker doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And they're going to check out because that's what happened to us on that defense last year. Those guys did not believe in what they were teaching. We went from being a man-to-man to a zone defense, and they checked the fuck out on that. They never bought into it, and it showed on the field. So right now, you got these guys that believe in Christian Parker. Thank you very much, Rob A. Believe in Christian Parker and what he's teaching into them, and they are going out there like a bunch of crazed dogs.
Yeah, I mean, you try not to go overboard with the first day in pads, but what you did see is that they were moving in unison, they were violent towards the football. But you also had a guy who he was so clean. I mean, he didn't get touched until he touched blue.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when you have a guy when a guy can run free and clean like that, it just makes it's beautiful when you watch it. And you not only saw him do that today, you saw Barham get loose, you saw a Lua foul run around making plays. It's an attacking defense, and they've got guys who can make plays. They trust the guys who can make plays. I think when we have an opportunity to see what Izarako was doing, as well as Malachi Lawrence, I think it'll really give us a bigger picture of what this defensive line is able to do in the games and the stunts they'll be able to run this year. But going back to what you said about defensive tackle, when they won, they had real defensive tackles. You had a Maryland. You had a Chad Henning. You turned around, you had Jeffcoat. You had guys like that. And you turned around and tried to make guys into defensive tackles. So you tried to make Jay Ratliff a defensive tackle when
Ratliff was probably the best one we've had in
but trying to make David Irving one too.
But I think Jason Hatcher was just as good as but you really couldn't get him on the field because you had Ratliff. You had Ratliff. So I just think getting guys who fit the mold of being a true one and a dominating three is what they've been able to do. Even though we're not getting a young Kenny Clark, we're still getting a guy who's still effective. And I think the other guys behind him can work as well.
Let me get a quick shout out to everybody who's in the chat here.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
We are doing something a little bit different here because today is first day in padded practice. Hopefully we'll be able to do some more of these live streams this week and stuff to kind of get caught up on what was everybody's seeing, how they're feeling, and so on. Negativity wise, it's hard to find much negative thus far. Now, of course, it's just the fourth practice and things, and you don't really want to hear a whole lot of stuff, but I've heard Sam Williams is kind of living in the backfield, which is great. Of course, Jaden Blue, although he got kind of jacked up today, has looked definitely not like a guy who's not studying. Okay. He definitely seems the opposite of what he was last year.
Okay.
Savon Ravel, he seemed like he had the practice of the day with the pass breakup and things and looking really good. Overshown is looking really good there. And like you said, Caleb Downs. So I'm trying to find, where's the negativity?
I mean, I get with Sharon Ravel, he had to go in, but Kobe Durant I think he had to play at camp. That interception he had today was absolutely insane. Just understanding having good football IQ, understanding he tricked an 11-year veteran where he thought that was going to be there. And for him to realize, just understanding football, 88's coming across, let me turn around and go make a play. That was insane. That's probably the play at camp of that interception he had today. But you can't really have anything too negative to say because we had the 39th best defense in all the football last year, Mark. We had the 39th best defense in all of football. Anything that looks positive, we're excited about. Guys making plays, guys touching the ball, linebackers filling, people getting thudded up really, really. Man, I mean, how do you not get excited about what you see? Watch this, man. That was amazing, bro.
We haven't seen that.
No.
Honestly, we would see like Trey or Duran maybe make a break on the football with a quarterback.
Right.
This was him baiting off of technique. Like those guys kind of got away with Micah being able to get after the quarterback quick and maybe a quarterback makes an inaccurate throw. This is 100% technique, IQ. I'm setting you up for the okie doke.
I don't think it was even to the point of just the okie doke. I think what he did is that the technique was right. The read was correct. He just made a great play, man. He just
Yeah.
turned around and said, I see 88 streaking. He's not going there. Let me just try to go make a play on the ball. And it was just the right read.
Hmm.
That's just a great play from a guy, as we look at these guys that they brought in, because because the Rams got rid of him, so we said, well, he must not be that good. No, the Rams just turned around and said, we got thumped by Seattle, 3 times last year, and our cornerbacks weren't big enough. So they went and got all bigger cornerbacks. That might work for him, it might not. Kobe Durant can play. Kobe Durant is a definite upgrade to the what secondary we had last year. And as much as I've been down on Deron Bland, hoping he have good feet and he can get up out of here, we can get him underneath that
And stay
contract.
healthy.
Deron Bland is really showing up these first couple of days of camp.
I still kind of wonder when you think about us having Al Harris, if Al Harris
Mm,
made Diggs and Deron Bland, because I believe Deron Bland has only had 2 interceptions since Al Harris
Mm.
left. And you saw
mm,
what Al Harris did with that secondary with the Bears.
hmm.
Coaching matters.
Okay, true. So, but Mark, do you think so? Al Harris took those guys. And what we saw when he left, they weren't guys who were technically sound, but they understood the techniques of gambling and making plays. Now that you get a bona fide teacher in Christian Parker, who's been able to take guys that we've seen that we think are decent corners in the league, if he can turn around and take the teaching technique and teach it to Bland, as long with his being able to gamble as well as the guys he's got now, I think that doesn't that enhance the secondary and make it a better secondary?
I think it definitely does. I think really you have to look at last year and just say, I can't judge anybody off of what happened last year because it was just that bad. There was nothing redeemable about it. Yeah, we got Quentin Williams, but we got him in the middle of the season. And
True.
this is where I was so happy that the Cowboys made so many of their moves early on and off season. I hate when we sign a Clowney a couple weeks into the season. You've
Right.
got 10 padded practices. That's all we have this year. 10 padded practices, 3 preseason games. If you don't have it by the end of that, you're not picking it up during the season. You don't really
Yeah.
practice in the NFL. And that's why it's
Yeah.
so important for the guys to be here for OTAs, mini camp, and the beginning healthy and training camp. So I think that these guys, having gone through, everybody knows their name and
Yes.
everybody is working with this coaching staff. I think that they're ahead of the curve of where we would have been last year.
Yeah, I think I can agree with that. But one, I try not to get too deep into it, Mark, because my sidekick, my main man, he don't like to judge rookies. He give rookies this huge pass. So the rookies that we have now, we are expecting them to do big things.
Yeah.
So
They're going to make
and
mistakes.
But let's talk about why he doesn't judge rookies. It's because of what we've been conditioned to do with rookies, which
right.
we have slow roll. We have baby rookies for so long.
Yes.
For the most part,
Yes.
we have not been bringing in rookies with pedigree. We bring in rookies that maybe they were strong at one position, and we're like, hey, this guy has position flex. Maybe we can do this different with him. Where with Caleb Downs, we're drafting you to play to your strengths. It's a little bit different. So I have some expectation.
But I mean,
Malachi Lawrence, I
yeah.
have some expectations because you're going to be doing what we asked you to
What
do.
you're
Mhm.
good at. What
Yeah, yeah.
you're good at. So if you're good at rushing the passer, go get the passer. Now, if you add on down the line that you become really good against the run, that's just a bonus. But I think what we like last year with Izaraku. Izaraku came in, he came with the pedigree of having 16 sacks his final
Mhm.
year in the ACC, and I've had a chance to see him up close and personal. But think about it, he came in and we were expecting him to be the most technically sound defensive end out there. And he turned around. He was great against the run. We're like, well, what happened to the sacks? So I think just having better coaches. I think with Dixon coming along, that's better coaching in the defensive line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Having Parker, that's better coaching. I
Mhm.
think that's been the biggest thing that has hurt
Preach.
the Cowboys over the years is that you've had the same old tired eyes on defense. There are so many young, talented defensive coaches out here that this year you finally get these guys in, and hey, let's see what happens. And I think it looks really good right now so far.
You know, for me, when Shoddy was hired last year, everybody went
Mm-hmm.
crazy and said, "Oh my God, this is just a bum. This is a typical Jerry hire." But I believe that Jerry Jones believes in him more than he did Mike McCarthy. I think they believe and trust in him more than they did with Jason Garrett. Because when you think about with Mike McCarthy, they never did anything really to help that team. They did more deconstruction than construction. They got rid of Amari Cooper and Cedric Wilson and crew and never really replaced them. But you see them right now. You know that Christian Parker, that Jerry Jones had no idea who the hell Christian Parker was.
True.
No, not at all.
That is definitely Schottenheimer. Schottenheimer from the beginning. We want guys that can teach
Mm-hmm.
and guys with energy. Typically we've got an old tread that doesn't understand the internet or anything like that in social media, and he's
Right.
trying to teach these young guys that are looking at this like, who's this old fool? You got Christian
Right.
Parker who can relate to these guys
True.
on a different level, and he's got a fresh perspective on how to play football. It's evolving. It's constantly evolving. And the shit that worked 5 years, 10 years ago does not work the same now.
Yeah, I think the thing that they changed more than anything, like last year, Shotty was about culture, culture, culture. I'm changing the culture. I think what ended up happening last year, you finally got the point of the head coach not worrying about the guy behind him taking his job, and we
Mm-hmm.
had kept having that for so many years. So getting the guy he wanted here. All right, you brought Eberflus back. I ain't really want Eberflus. Now I'm not worried about Eberflus taking my job, but let me go and pick my guys. And what Jerry and the organization has had over the years, by year 3, if it's not working the way they want to, Jerry puts his hand on it. And I think he's getting away from that. I think he's like, let this thing progress and grow and go the direction we want and see what happens. So last year, you had the offense be great and the defense be inept. So now you'll turn around this year. The defense will be I think the defense will be middle of the road. I think it will be. I think it'll be 15, 14 in the league. And with that, that's like a touchdown less. And if this offense
Mm-hmm.
continues to progress, you're looking at a team that can have a chance to really make a run in the playoffs.
Especially
My goal,
if
yeah,
they can get takeaways.
absolutely. Absolutely. If they can get takeaways, Mark, my goal every year, man, right now until we get off the snide is the NFC Championship. I
Mm-hmm.
just gotta get to the NFC Championship. Not trying to get the Super Bowl. I want to get to the NFC Championship. Once we do that, then I can start having aspirations about the Super Bowl.
All right.
So
Okay.
I'm tired of getting to the divisional round and losing. But the way this defense is running around day one, and the areas that the guys who we were worried about more than anything else, Tyler Guyton, uh, Terrence is over there, fighting, doing what he's doing. I just want to see how some of the other guys come along. How does Nate Thomas progress? How does Johnny Cornelius? How does he progress? And things of that nature. And if Dave's got, we can get some depth in the offensive line. I think we might have a shot. I think we might have a shot.
Okay, this is going to sound really stupid, okay? But I am 60 years old, and I used to be the hot man on kickoffs, okay? So I know I have brain
Okay.
damage. But I look at with CD and George
Mm-hmm.
Pickens and Ryan
Mm-hmm.
Fenoy as those guys are actually helping out our offensive line and our offensive tackles. I got posed a question yesterday. They said, well, with today's offense, now you're seeing teams that are using the run, of course, to set up the pass. And I look at
Mm-hmm.
the exact opposite. I've got two Corvettes that can go down the field. I'm stretching out this field and preventing them from being able to put 8 men in the box. You can go ahead and try and cover those guys one-on-one, and Dak's going to light your ass up. Is that a crazy thought?
Not at all. Not at all. And also too, I do want to point out this play, right? Because I'm just going through the plays that I saw
Mm-hmm.
were eye catching to me today. And I want to point this out as I bring this screen bigger. I want y'all to watch Blue take on Overshown
Right.
in
Right.
that B gap. Like, I mean, we're guys are stepping up in a different
Yeah,
areas
he
that
sure
we're
did.
not used to seeing. That's a hell of a pickup right there for
That looked like
him.
a Zeke pickup right there.
It did. It
Mm,
did,
yeah.
absolutely. And this
Yeah.
is the type of stuff that we wanted to see with growth. With you can't see that without the pads. So,
True.
you know, I mean, I think that Shotty's setting up a culture really to where he might even be surprising those guys upstairs with some of the things that he's able to set up, uh, with some of the development, with the coaching. I mean, everything that you guys are saying, I totally agree. I think what Chris was saying about the defense being middle of the pack, which is what Dallas needs. But on top of that, I think they start middle of the pack. But I think they start making impactful plays as they get more comfortable, as the weather gets cold,
Right.
as they need to. And if you think about it, that's really what the most championship teams do. Now, sometimes you'll get championship teams that the defense is stout throughout, but typically you really just need your defense to make the stops when you need them to make the stops or to stop the bleeding.
Yeah, to slow it down. But I think what's also going to happen, Mark and DMV, I think I need Shotty to tell me the truth and be who he said he was going to be. Like, I understand I got 2 Corvettes on the outside, but he said I was going to get a dominating, downhill, punishing type of football team. And I still got to win championships, I got to be able to run the football in November, December. That's how you win championships.
Bro,
And so, go ahead.
You got those 3 in the middle. Tyler, to think that Tyler Booker came out there, and yes, Eagle fans, I'm gonna say he bitch slapped Jalen Carter, and it wouldn't surprise me if Jalen Carter is looking for Dak Prescott to spit on again, so he gets kicked out, so he doesn't get his ass kicked again by Tyler Booker. That was a rookie out the box that kicked his fat ass. How you think he's gonna be this year?
I think he's going to be dominant, but I still think that was one of the things that hurt us last year in the red zone. As high flying and high powered as this offense was and how many yards we put up, I think being able to run the football and let those guys move people against their will be the centerpiece of us going further in the playoffs. You watch the Kenneth Walker, who, and Chardonnay, man, Kenneth Walker wouldn't got paid because they turned around and handed the football and ran the football. Mm-hmm. I think if you can get Maffa to the back half of the season with Blue, as long with Javante, I think you have a core of guys you can run the football, and now you're getting 4 or 5 yards, and guess what? You're gonna have to make a decision to play 1-on-1, and that's death to your team. See what I'm saying? If we can run the football like that, if we can get 4.5, 4.5, 4.6 yards a clip. Oh man, who wants to deal with that? Because you ain't trying to deal with CD and George out there 1-on-1. So I still think you got to be able to move people against their will, and I think that's what they're going to be able to do more and more this year.
Yeah, hey, check out Guyton on this play on overtime.
Yeah,
this is what I was talking about earlier. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he getting people about the club, man. He getting people about the club and getting to the second level. Feet getting better, started. I think that's one thing they're going to work on him too. Getting him on the move. Go find a guy and just jack a dude up.
He looked good.
So go ahead, Mark.
I said he looked good in there.
Yeah, honestly, if you look at it, Guyton hasn't been a question throughout this camp. He hasn't been the question. He was the question at the beginning, but right now, every time you see Guyton's doing what he needs to do. Guyton is becoming a player that we drafted or what we hoped
you wanted. Yeah, what you hoped he would be. You already knew he was a project. He was going to take time. Duke had already told you that several times. His ability to get to where he wanted to get to was based on his level of commitment, and he's shown that. Now the thing he has to show us himself as well as Cowboy Nation, can I get to 16, 17, 18 games? That's what we care about now. Can he get there?
Oh, man, look. My buddy Rob said, "Hey, Mark, pump your brakes on Carter. He's coming back healthy." Okay. All right. We'll see. We'll see.
Hey, look. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about Carter. Here's the thing about Jordan Davis, right? I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say it clear. There's nowhere on this offensive line that you can hide. You can say Tyler Smith, he's good. Let me see if I can go over to the other side. Tyler Booker might even end up being better than him. Mm-hmm. And then if you say,
ain't that crazy? Ain't that crazy?
Let me shade and see if I can get if I can get a little bit of relief against the center. Cooper Beebe is listen.
He's getting better and better.
He's getting better and better. So
Yep.
there's nowhere that you can hide in that front three that you guys was talking about on our offensive line.
Yep.
They,
It's
they, it is turning into, um, dare I say,
90-ish.
Yeah,
it's,
I think this is very similar to the '91 team before the year before
Hmm.
where we lost to the Lions in the divisional, I think, and then the next year we ended up winning the Super Bowl. This reminds me of the '91 team for sure. And on top of that, really talking about our top three interior offensive linemen, guess who they're playing against every day? Kenny Clark, Quinn
Kenny
Williams.
Clark,
Right.
Quinn
Like
Williams. Yeah. Yeah.
we're probably even with the Eagles on the interior.
Yeah.
It's formidable. I mean,
Yeah,
and listen, they're not going against guys who get moved, they get moved easily in the run game. They are not. So that's gonna it's an iron sharpens iron type of
Oh,
situation.
Rob A. I'm so happy you finally joined us. He said that's just super talk. Cooper BB and Booker are is not as good as Smith. Delusional talk.
okay,
Hey, okay,
all
all
right,
right.
we'll
Okay.
see.
It's on,
Okay,
bro.
Okay,
It's on.
check. Check. We'll see. We'll see you week 5, man. We'll see you what I think it's week 5 we play them or week 7.
Week 7, I think it is. Wait a minute.
Okay, I think it's okay. Hey, I'll see you then. I'll see you
yeah,
then.
that's
Yeah,
it.
you know what I'm
You
saying?
gonna
That's
find
it. Yeah.
out.
Gonna
You gonna
find
find
out.
out the
Hey,
hard
yeah,
way.
yeah. We run for 175 on you. Okay. What are we talking about? 175 in the dub. What are we talking about? I really don't care. Jalen Carter is a great player. They paid him. Now he got to go show and prove. But I'm putting those 3 guys up front. Um, that was probably the best move. A lot of people weren't happy with getting Tyler Booker, when we drafted him, but he was the best guy at that spot. I know we wanted a weapon, and he is a weapon
He is a
because
weapon for
he
sure.
helps us unleash everything else we're trying to do.
Yep,
Amen
I
Keep
to
it,
like
that.
it.
keep him. Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
quiet.
amen. I'm just agreeing with you on that.
Yeah, yeah, that helps out a lot.
Okay, so as we are getting ready to you know, probably shift gears a little bit, I kind of want to know what's been your, I guess maybe your top 3 takeaways from today from some of the stuff that you've been watching, and I'll start with Mark.
I'm gonna say one would be Savon Rebel is definitely healthy. Because we looked at, when we drafted him, missed most of his senior season and, got injured in training camp and never really got much there. And when he did come through, he had the brace on and just didn't seem like he moved well. Him moving the way he has been great. Seeing Overshone moving the way that he is actually moving, it seems like, I think on Saturday's practice, he was covering Turpin. And so having to cover a small, speedy guy like that, the size differential, you've got to really be able to get low to be able to cut with him and stuff. So to me, that's saying that he's had to use a lot of his range and things, and seemingly no problems with that. And I will say, seeing Caleb Downs being able to fill the hole in there, the defense and all the way around finally got me feeling better because everything had been about the offense. Today it seems like the defense actually, now that the pads are on, started doing something. One caveat on that though is you don't really know what the defense is, the linemen especially, until you get the pads on. The same thing with the running
Right,
backs,
right.
because if you're not getting that pop, okay, you really just don't know. And this is where you got a chance for the defense to kind of get into it and being able to really show up.
Yeah.
Okay, what about you? Set it off.
Hey, listen, man. Shout out to mutual friend to all of us, Skywalker Steel. He's been able to do the live training camp stuff. And all I can say is they were squabbling out there today. They was out there getting
Again?
after it, man.
It was
They was out
squabbling
there
again?
they were squabbling. They were being fast, physical, and with full of intent to let you know that they were there. So defensively, that's what I saw. Offensively, man, Rain is at a different level. He's in midseason form already. He is already in midseason form. And like Mark said before, he has ratcheted up his level of where he's going to. He's made some commitments. He's made some promises. He said some things out of his mouth that he wants to bring to pass. And above all else, man, I just like what the young running backs are trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
I know I need Javante in November and December, but I need to figure out if Blue and Mafa. If I don't have to go get a veteran back, then I can really focus on getting another veteran linebacker or another veteran pass rusher to keep this thing the way I want to keep it. I'm more worried. I'm more worried about um, the safety that we got from Kansas City. I want to make sure he gets back. And I'm also worried about PJ Locke, how he comes, because if I can have that safety depth, then I can really use Caleb Downs as a defensive weapon all over the field. That's what
Yeah,
I'm more concerned about.
PJ returned to practice today from
Good,
from,
good,
from what
yeah.
I've
Yeah.
been
And
from what I've
Jalen
been reading.
Thompson.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think my three takeaways are I think Dak being as sharp as he is, I don't know that I've seen him come into a camp this sharp. And I think that going into is this year 2 or is this the first year with Ken Dorsey?
This is year one. I think this is year
It's
one with
year 1.
Dorsey. Yeah.
I can see a difference. Oh,
Okay.
I can see a difference for sure. I think that a lot of what you liked in Josh Allen, how it looked, you know, he was one of the architects in Josh Allen's career in
Yeah.
helping him develop.
Absolutely.
And so that's actually why my bold prediction for the year is that I think Dak is going to win NFL MVP. I think he's going to win NFL MVP. I mean, it's setting up. If you look at it, you look at the weapons that he has, you look at the chemistry that he's building with George Pickens right now and what that looks like. He's already had that chemistry with CD. And so now you're able to sprinkle in other guys. And then the other day you saw that we were able to sprinkle in a screen game, which we've struggled with. And then the back shoulder fade, the GP, and the goal line. Those are the two areas that I really wanted Dak to improve on. Actually for years, which is the screen game and the back shoulder game.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see him work on some of those things right now. So how sharp Dak is right now, I like that a lot. Number 2, the attitude of the defense, which today it looked like the defense really got after it. Now, I know that our writers and I know that the media, they love the offensive clips. They love, chicks dig the long ball, right?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So when I watched Jay Tuck's coverage of it today, I saw the defense punching them in the mouth. I saw the defense punching the offense in the mouth. The
Mhm.
offense was punching them back, but the defense really was setting the tone. And I think they set the tone for the offense to have to be physical. And so that's important because we have not had that. That's why when teams play physical against us late in the year, we don't know how to respond. We just know how to get
Right.
punched on.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Um,
We
yeah.
don't know how to counter. Go ahead.
Actually, Ken Dorsey actually joined us last year as a
Okay.
passing
Okay. Okay.
specialist. So
Okay.
this is his
Okay.
second year working with Dak.
Okay.
Yeah. And so even with that, like I just say chemistry is different. This is GP's second year, and it just
True.
looks a lot more fluid, man. It just
Yeah.
does,
Yeah.
So and as you guys know too, in year 2, really, this is really when it's yours. Hey, I had you for a whole season. Then we have our exit meetings, and I tell you the things that I want you to work on and the things. And then I also know as a coach what I need to improve on and how I can convey information to you a little bit different. And then, boom, the offensive line looks better. The offensive line in the second year of Clayton Adams's run game concept stuff with Connor Riley as the O-line coach, that
Right.
looks better
Mhm.
too. So,
Yep.
um,
Time
hell,
on task. Time on task with those guys. Go ahead. You
I'm
on
not
it.
even
You
gonna
on it.
lie. Like even look, the pass protection looked clean. Like Jaden Blue stepping in there
Yeah.
and hitting Overshown in the mouth. You can't sit here and act like that's something that we've been seeing. Like that
Right.
wasn't something that kept him on the bench last year.
Shout out to
And
Oh
Game
yeah.
Time in the house. And I'm going to say that, and I'm going to get Tracy to do a shirt when she gets back. I'm going to say the Cowboys have done a great job of getting guys that are hungry. When you think about from the coaches to the players, okay, uh, Christian Parker, he wants to be a head coach. He is going to do everything to make sure that this team is successful. He's going to bust his ass. And Clayton Adams is another one who's on the fast track right now, too. So you got those guys that are really highly motivated to do well because they want to get their own teams. But not just that, between Overshone, who knows that this is a contract year, I got to show up and do something. George Pickens, without a doubt. Does anybody doubt that George Pickens is going to, he is going to go, not alligator arms. He's going to try and make every play because the rainbow, the pot of gold is out there for him. A guy like Tyler Guyton, who hasn't shown up yet, he's got to be hungry to say, I got to do something or my ass is going to get kicked out of here. So when you start looking at all these storylines of all these guys, that everybody's kind of hungry to really do something to try and, make their mark and to get to that next level.
I mean, you're spot on. I just think this is the progression, though. I think it's like the perfect storm coming together. Guys who are hungry, people understand they're in the spotlight. They're getting more eyes on them than ever before. You know, Dixon and Parker and all these different coaches know that the whole world is looking at them. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They have only one direction to go, which is up. And if they do go up here, you remember when Dan
Everybody's going to
Quinn got
see
here?
you.
Yeah, everybody's gonna see. Dan Quinn took the worst defense of all football, put in the middle of the pack. The whole world wanted him again.
Yep.
So I don't think so much is to the point that with Parker as well as with the O line coach with the O line coach and things of that nature. That they're leaving this year. I think we kind of be like what Detroit had, when they had Glenn and they had Johnson and all those guys. They're gonna want to try to see this thing through because what makes you more attractive is you win and you win in consecutive years. So, like we said, man, if the Cowboys get to the NFC Championship game, get to whatever, winning in Dallas means more than anywhere else in the
Oh,
NFL
without a doubt.
because the whole world's gonna see it. The whole world's gonna see it.
So set it off. I know that we're a little bit over an hour. I didn't know if you could stick around for a little bit longer because I know that
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Yeah,
Yeah.
B would jump on me if I decide, nah, I can't stay because we try to keep it an hour, man. As long as y'all need me, I'm here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I hope Mark that I was able to, you guys are able to create a relationship too, because Franklin
doubt.
football does a good job too. And like I told you, Set It Off brings a lot of good energy when you do work with him. So, I hope you've enjoyed this too. And I know you
Appreciate it,
get
man.
ready to say
definitely.
something, but
Yeah. For whatever reason, nobody ever says, "Hey, I'd like to do something." I figured, man, did I forget my deodorant or something? I don't know what it is.
Nah. You know what, Mark? You know what? Put that on me because B don't do a lot of reaching out. I'll reach out to anybody, but like I said, there's certain people in this content creator, world, that we hold in super duper high regard. And I put you definitely in that because me and DMV said, yeah, man, I talk to Mark all the time. And I had never said, hey man, why don't you introduce me? Because I definitely would have loved to have and
I would have done that, bro.
I know. I just never thought about it. Real talk. When you said we was working with Mark, I was like, oh snap, we working with Mark. That's my guy. Yeah, but no doubt we'll definitely hook up and get something together.
Yeah, definitely. And I realize how come people say, "Man, I watched you, man, and it motivated me." It's like, yeah, because I literally proved that any fucking idiot can do this shit. If that motherfucker can do this shit, I damn sure can.
I was actually talking about that, Mark.
Yeah.
I was talking about that in my last show. I was like, man, when I first started, I was doing videos everywhere. I was doing them in the car, like just doing content.
Turn it on.
Yeah, for sure. And like everybody always asks me, how do you get started? Like all the film and all the production. I'm like, nah, just cell phone, like just do it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yep.
and that's the biggest thing that I learned from you, man. I'm grateful that I met you. I'm glad that Clarence introduced me to you. And hell, I talked to you more than I talked to Clarence.
Oh, Clarence will always send me, a text message and stuff like that. He's like, you should get the projection screen TV out there for the space I'm building out there and stuff like that.
See?
Or send me a clip and say, check this out, this, that, and the other. I'm blessed because I have so many people that are always like the eyes and ears. And if I miss something there, hey, Mark, here's something, boom. And I always say that without you guys, it doesn't work because it's the truth.
Yeah.
Most of the people I look in here, I see Rhonda, I see Holly Pierce, I see even Jess, who's a Giants fan, and Thrasher and Game Time Brian. This has become my family. I mean, everybody,
Right.
it's it's honestly a lot of my lifetime friends have been because of YouTube. And like I said,
True.
Clarence ended
Essential.
up, stalking me at the post office, rolled up, I'm at the post office, and this big SUV comes up, the real big guy in there. He rolls out and went, "You're Mark Holmes." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And he's like, "I watch you, man. I can't believe you live around here and stuff." And so I was like, that was how I met Clarence. And then Clarence is like, "Man, you got to meet my friend, man, because he knows more about the draft picks and everything else. He knows his shit." And so DMV, boom, that's how I got to meet DMV.
No doubt.
And
No
and
doubt.
I will
No
say
doubt.
the majority of the people in my circle are all people that came from here, from YouTube. It's
No doubt.
crazy when I think about it, but it's the truth, and I
Yeah.
really feel like you have family. Even some of the ones like Logan Motorsport and things like that here. That
Yeah.
it's like doing the live streams. It's like I'm seeing, talking to my friends and hanging out with my people.
No doubt. That's how it normally is. That's definitely true.
It's actually funny because the Eagles content creators
Hmm.
or the Eagles fans that show up, it's actually crazy because I'm close with Eagles fans off of
Oh,
creating content.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the truth. Because like me going on the Dan Saleo show. Now, since we're talking about the Eagles here, now like I said, Dan Saleo throws gasoline on a fire because that's what he does. But he was literally saying that Makai Lemon looks like a toad, man. He's like, he ain't doing shit. I was like, damn. He's like, that offense. He's like, it's putrid. Nah, like it's only 4 days in now, but damn. Sounds like they got a long ways to go.
Well, you went from having AJ Brown, who's a big physical wide receiver that causes certain things, to go to two smaller guys. Don't get me wrong, I love Makai Lemon and I love Devontae Smith. I think he's amazing, but this is a grown man's game, and you got to have somebody who can take the pressure off the outside. And you don't have that any longer. So, and he's a
Shout out to
rookie.
I Love Weed.
Yeah, yeah.
I Love Weed said, we sitting here talking about practice. Shout out to him for the super chat. The thing they're going to
Mm.
miss with AJ Brown, if you watch some of the film, a lot of times some of those passes are a little bit late and a little bit behind, and sometimes a little bit high. And AJ Brown would make up for it. It'll be
Right.
interesting when he has those smaller receivers there. And everybody, Eagle fans, oh, our running game is going to be back. I don't know that it necessarily will be, because that 2,000-yard mark, that usually is the beginning of the end of football players' careers.
Mark, we were sitting the other day. A shout out to my homeboy John Herndon, man. We were talking the
Love
other day,
John.
and love John. And John had we were sitting and talking about um what between generational talent
Mm-hmm.
and guys like that. So we got on the conversation between Emmett and Barry. So I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I'm totally Emmett centric. I think Emmett is great,
Me
and
too.
I don't and I understand that Barry was a great runner. I just felt Emmett was a great running back.
Mm-hmm.
But what made Emmett so great was the years of the times he carried the football. If you go back and look at Emmett's
Oh yeah.
history, he had like 3 years inside of his career that he didn't touch the ball 240 times.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about he had years where he was 320, 350, 375. I mean,
The
that's
durability was
just
nuts, bro.
insane. That's what made him generational. Not only with his record, like he pushed that record to the point where it'll never be touched again.
Mm-hmm.
That's one that they'll stand forever
Yeah.
because of his durability and his ability to just keep stacking years and the amount of carries he had. So
And
everybody's
his
like, "Oh
pain
well, Barry,
threshold. That game against the
that
Giants,
right,
where his
right,
arm was literally falling off of his body
right,
180
right."
some yards. It's just like you don't see that kind of shit anymore.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, no, God, I mean, not saying that they're softer, but you just don't. No one has been able to have that kind of longevity and durability like him for that period of time. You're talking about 10, 12 years of consistently 240, 250, 270. Like you said,
No.
Saquon
Not to
had
Derrick,
mention,
Derrick Henry
not
is
to
like
mention
that
catching the
now.
ball too. He caught
right. Go ahead.
and blocking. Like he was one of the better blockers in history
Right.
too, as a running back.
Absolutely.
He was definitely known for that. So, like Emmett, for as physical as how he played, the guy knew how to not take hits.
Not take huge hits. Not take
Yeah,
huge hits.
Yeah,
Right.
I will.
That was one thing.
I am gonna counter just a little bit here though,
Go ahead.
because one of the things that helped that was the fact that he could get to that second level before he was getting contact. And there's a
Right.
big difference when you're getting hit in the backfield by the big nasties than it is getting hit by the linebackers, safeties, and cornerbacks. And so that's another
Right.
thing that did help along that.
Yeah.
And that's where you look at it, because I think about take Darren McFadden, for example. When we got Darren McFadden, for 3 years in a row, he averaged 3.9 yards a carry. But he got here to the Cowboys. The offensive line was actually opening it up. He couldn't stay healthy before, but because he was able to get to that second level before getting that contact, he was actually able to hold up. So that does have a big impact on your play. And that's where I look at Javonte Williams last year, being the field being stretched out by George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb. It ended up opening up those lanes so he could get to that second level before getting contact. And I think that helped his durability last year.
Well, Javante's always had we talked about, me and Brandon talked about it on Franklin Football. Javante's always had somebody to handcuff him. When he was in college, he had Giovanni Bernard. So I think having one of these two guys, or even both those guys, step up and take some of that load off will give us a fresher, fresher Javonte Williams in the back half of the season where we need him to be at his freshest.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, right? And I'm glad that the conversation has shifted to this, because before camp, I thought that Phil Maffa was the clear guy, and I thought that Blue needed to find another role, like maybe kick returns and all that type of stuff.
Oh yeah, you definitely had him on. You definitely had him there. Yeah.
But watching him now, and I know that Brian Broaddus said that if Blue could become what you need him to become, he should probably start. I'm looking at him now, and I don't see a starter, but I definitely see a role. I see Tony Pollard in maybe 21, like right off the G.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
he has that skill set, but seeing him block like that in year 2, like Tony wasn't doing that in year 2. You know what I'm saying?
I think that was big. I mean, and I remember when Cover 3 did that. I watch all y'all, so just understand that I'm a fan of all y'all. But when Jay Tuck was like, because of the way we're starting the season off, and we're going against the Giants, and we're going against different people like that, I think that's going to be huge. But I also think when you got to come up and you got to play Washington, you got to deal with Styles and his size and his physicality, you're going to need a guy like Maffa to be able to step up as well as Blue. I think you're going to need all those guys. I think to get to where we want to get to, you're going to need.
I think Maffa's for the later season. When, like, all right, do you remember when Philadelphia won their Super Bowl with Nick Foles?
Yeah, they traded for Jay Ajayi.
Yeah. But Jay Ajayi didn't end up being their running back during that run. It was LeGarrette Blount.
Right.
It was LeGarrette Blount.
Yeah,
and then before that, with the Patriots, it was LeGarrette Blount.
Right.
LeGarrette Blount's body type, that strength, it started to wear on you. And then when it came to hitting yardage and stuff like that, like it paid dividends. So
it did.
I think Phil Maffa might not be early in the year, maybe not mid, but as Javonte needs a break, maybe he needs a game, or you know what I'm saying, he's nursing something. Phil can kind of come in here and offer you he can offer you some help in that running back room.
I just don't need him to try to be cute. He doesn't have to be shaky, wiggly guy, try to make people miss. Be what he was in Clemson, a track runner. And when I mean a track runner guy, hey, put your foot in the ground, get downhill. And if he can do that, then that'll be able to help us get exactly where we want to get to. I just need him to be what he was in college and transition it bigger, physical, and more faster here in the NFL with the Cowboys.
Yep, sounds good to me.
Yeah, that's all I need him to do, man.
Absolutely. That's all I need
him to do.
So I do want to segue into something else too, and it's pretty interesting. Only in Dallas would you have this conversation, but the backup quarterback, which is Sam Howell and Joe Milton. Have you guys really been kind of paying attention to their reps when you do get an opportunity to watch one of them go in?
Go ahead, Mark. You got it.
No, I'm going to kick back on this one. I have not watched the two of
Okay.
them, but
Okay.
but here's
All
what I
right.
will say though
Mm-hmm.
is I think about Cooper Rush, how everybody thought in Rush we trust, and how he could be the starter for the Cowboys with Brian
Mm-hmm.
Schottenheimer as his offensive coordinator, and last year when he was playing with the Ravens, how bad he looked.
Mm.
I think a lot of that was actually Brian Schottenheimer, because everywhere Brian Schottenheimer has been working with quarterbacks, I think he's been like a quarterback whisperer. I mean, remember, he got
Okay.
butt fumble in that offense to the AFC Championship game twice.
Mm.
Russell
Okay.
Wilson, the 3 years he was there with Russell Wilson, were the
Yeah.
three best years statistically. Russell Wilson, he had 42 touchdown
Mm.
passes one year.
Let Russ cook. That was
And
the
Let him
right,
campaign.
cook.
and
Let him
you've seen
cook.
him with Dak. I look at this and I say that Sam Howell, he's got had 21 touchdowns and 21 interceptions. He does have some experience. He's actually got more
Mm-hmm.
experience than Cooper Rush. That Brian Schottenheimer might be able to make him a really good backup quarterback, and I'll go from there. Yeah,
And
I'll just leave it right there.
listen, man, we at Franklin Football, we always try to find a nice thing to say about Joe Milton. If it's not of his athleticism,
Nice
doing
backflip.
nice backflip. He throws a beautiful ball. He does all those different things, man.
Yeah,
But when Joe has been able to be in the game, he has shown you that, man, he is fool's gold. So
yeah,
I think having 2 years in, 2 years in this system, he'll progress. Sam can play. Sam Howell came out of school, came out of North Carolina. He has an upside. He has the ability to be able to make plays. I
hmm
just need one of these two guys. I need one of these two guys to be able to, one, be able to hold the clipboard really, really good, and the other guy be able to run the scout team really, really good. I don't want to see either one of them on the football field this year to do anything. I need a healthy Rain Dakota Prescott for 19 to 20 games. But it's good that they're showing progression. Joe is showing he's not just a project. He looks better now. Sam's gonna look how he looks. I think Will Greer coming back as a coach helps out as well with those young guys. Okay, Will Greer came
yeah.
back. He's been with Joe. He's been along with Dorsey. I just think it just helps having cohesiveness in the room and with those guys. But I don't want to see neither one. I want them both with their hats on backwards after,
Oh,
after
I
the third
agree.
preseason
Believe me,
game.
I don't
The
want
whole
either of them
year.
on the field. No,
Not none.
not
Hey man,
unless it's like fourth quarter and we're up by 30 points.
yeah. If I'm up by 21, hey, come on, Joe, do your thing, Joe. Come on, Bazooka Joe. You
Hey, can we say this? This is the first year that there hasn't been that, I feel like, to where it's like, oh, so and so could be this quarterback or so and so can be that. Like even last year with Bazooka Joe, we looked at certain times and we were like in practice because we didn't know how bad our defense was. We had no
Absolutely.
clue.
Mhm.
Right.
So until we played like the Ravens in the preseason game and we started getting to those preseason games, we didn't know how bad it was because Joe Milton was completing passes in practice.
Right. But
So
Yep.
listen, just Joe, keep getting better. Want you to get another check. I want you to be tenured in the NFL. Great. Sam, keep doing your thing. Uh I just want him to stay healthy. I don't want to see him after that third preseason game. Hey, I'm just looking for the backflip before the warm up.
and here's the funny thing too, right? Because Commander fans were trying to sell you a couple years ago that Sam Howell was better than Dak
Right.
Listen, man.
because of a week 17 or week 18 game, and we see him back to back, and we see him in practice every day. And glad you guys were wrong.
Yeah, I'm glad you
If
were.
I had a
You know,
dollar for every quarterback that they thought was better than Dak, remember when C.J. Stroud or Kyler Murray, um, Deshaun Watson, uh, Jordan Love. I mean, you can go down every year. It's always, yeah, he's better than Dak. He's better than Dak. And I'm going to say, Jaden Daniels right now, you have to wonder, is he going to be like he was his rookie year? Or is this a case of where he's like CJ Stroud or like RG3?
I don't want him to be RG3 at all because he ended up getting injured and his career was over. But CJ Stroud has got the whole world on his shoulders coming into this season because he has got an epic defense. And he all he has to do is, man, he just has to keep from wetting the bed. and that football team could make it to the Super Bowl, they would have been a problem. They would have been an absolute problem for Seattle because that defense is so dominant. So I think with Jaden Daniels, his biggest issue is everybody got a chance to get a year film on him. And then
Hmm.
his physicality and his frame and the way he wanted to play, teams
You
changed
can't
it.
do that.
So
Yeah.
now, right, you can't do that. So now it's going to be up to that offense to be able to get people in place, get the ball out to their playmakers. There's a lot of talk up there that they don't have weaponry and things of that nature. I don't believe that. I think with the addition of Katron Allen, that's going to be an addition. I definitely like some of the wide receivers. One, definitely 83, I am in love with, and I will forever be in love with him. I want him to have great games every time he plays. Even when he plays the Cowboys in a blowout, he scored 2 touchdowns. 42-14 looks great. Him
Hmm.
getting both touchdowns. I don't care. But I think he's going to have to change and evolve because physically he can't take that pounding like that, game after game after game. And
Yeah.
people are looking for that now.
Yeah. He's not a very big guy. He is
Not at
tiny.
all. Not at all.
Shoot,
And
I ain't
and
gonna lie. He was giving. This about to sound bad, but shoot, he don't look that much more bigger than him. And his mom look about the same size,
come
and
on,
she's
man. Why
not
you
a
got
big
bring? Hey,
woman.
man. Why you got to bring his mama out, man? Why you got to talk about that man, mama,
I
man?
mean, he giving her piggyback rides. I mean, they she going all over camp. Like, look, I didn't seen pictures, I didn't seen videos. Like, mama all over the place, bro.
Hey, man.
Damn.
You know, yeah, man, and mamas was like that, man. With their sons in football, man. So shout out to his mama, man.
Yeah,
Shout out to his
she's
mom.
done a hell of a job with him, man. She's done a hell of a job.
Hey, she's done a great job with him. She's done an absolutely great job with him. But he's gonna have to. This is a proven year for him. Great rookie season, and now everybody's seen him. And
Hmm.
defenses have gotten better, a lot better. So they want to keep him in the pocket, make him throw from there, and can he evolve? That's a big thing for him this year.
Yep. That's going to be a lot. It'll be interesting to
So,
see because
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
Dan
yeah.
Quinn is on the
I
hot
think
seat
he's a
right
good
now.
player. I just do. I
I
love
mean, I,
Jaden
I'm not.
Daniels.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I just think the team the team he's on, you got to be able. Every young quarterback needs three things, man. They got to be able to run the football. You've got to have a tight end they can learn, they can trust, and they got a defense that can, keep things down. I think the Commanders' defense is going to be so much better. It's just how Styles progresses because he's really a safety playing linebacker. So now that he's going to have to be playing linebacker a lot, you're going to see that. Their spark scores and all those different things about them, the guys that they got, um, is very high. But can that transition to the league? And how well do they continue to run the football?
yeah,
I think that they got the one guy who I wanted for selfish reasons, but I definitely think we needed to go get. And those 2 5s to move up to get Caleb Downs is why you didn't have an opportunity to go get him. If you would have got Katron Allen in the fifth round, I'd be getting ready to go run butt naked in the streets because we don't want the Super Bowl.
Ooh.
Because I think Katron Allen with this offense with Rain Dakota Prescott is unstoppable. But we have to. We're hoping Javante Williams, Jaden Blue, and Phil Maffa can be that compliment to that.
We can only hope.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna
We can
lie.
only hope.
I ain't gonna lie. Any day of the week, I'm giving all that to get Caleb Downs
I
because
mean,
yeah,
okay. So let me just give you my philosophy. I had the sexy six. I had my six guys in
Hmm.
that in those top picks. That if I got any of those guys, I was happy. When we got down to that point, we had Caleb Downs was sitting there, and we had oh shoot, Tampa Bay defensive end. They got him. Miami. Keem Mesidor and God dang, I said the dude's name so much I forgot his name. Um, James Evans of the deep. The defensive end for Miami. What was his name?
Messidor, or you talking about
No,
Bain? Ruben Bain.
there. It was Ruben
I
Baines.
think Bain. I think Bain was the next pick.
Alligator arms.
He already got.
Yeah, no, but listen, that man that had short arms his whole life, and like I said before,
He been Gary Coleman his whole life.
hey, listen, the T-Rex is still the one animal in all the Jurassic Park movies that kills and tears up everything. So I'm never talking bad about that man. But so it was between Baines and Downs. I didn't have a problem with sitting there because I was going to get either one of those guys. You know what I'm saying? If I'd have got one of those six guys of my 66, I would have been happy. Downs is, helps us in so many more different ways, but I wouldn't have lost no sleep if we would have got Baines. I wouldn't have been mad at all.
But
I think go ahead.
I was gonna say, but those fives, we ended up getting fours, and I think that maybe your beef more so with Shelton and LT Overton, which I haven't heard nothing about Overton's camp, by the way.
I mean, but you haven't heard about anybody. You haven't heard about Overton. You haven't heard anything about Gilliam. You haven't heard anything about the defensive tackle from San Diego with the long name that I can't.
But I have heard about Devin Moore because he's been making plays at corner.
Right. Yeah. You seen Devin Moore with the defense on that side, but I think all those guys inside, like Marcus said earlier, because you're earning the right to rush the passer because you're not giving up the big runs and people, we're stopping guys tight in the run. I think that's what you just want to continue to hear. Those guys on the inside, Mark know how it is, man. When you're a headbanger, man, nobody wants to talk about you until the game is over. No. Now, if you're getting run off for 300 yards, oh man, Mark sucks, man. Chris, get his ass out of there. You know what I'm saying? But if it's tight and it's 2-3 yards and you getting pressure and the defensive ends can rush and you stopping guys behind the line of scrimmage, everybody love you. But nobody remember those guys inside like that.
Yeah, as an offensive lineman, generally speaking, if you're doing good, you never hear him called. You'll never
hear your name, right? Okay? Yeah. You
didn't hear Tyler Booker. You didn't hear
BB
Cooper
Smith,
BB or right. Yeah. You never heard them talked about. You heard Terrence Steele. You heard Tyler Guyton last year because they were messing up. You didn't hear those interior guys. Yeah, when you're doing your job on the offensive line, nobody knows who the fuck you are.
Yeah. And I think you earn the right to rush the passer. It's not just something that's given. And I think that was one of the biggest knocks they had with Micah that, he got 14 sacks, but, we got 14 sacks, but we give up 220 yards on the ground.
Yeah.
So I think this year.
I love Weed. Overshown prove it year, question mark? I think it's
absolutely.
It's definitely a
he better or he ain't gonna get paid. This is contract year. You better
contract year. So I mean, and so if he goes out and has a great year, perfect. Now we won't get anything back for it, because he's in year 4. But I mean, that's just that's a dice game you play when you're finding guys. It's just unfortunate for him that he did lose his rookie year to injury. And then he did lose played 14 games and then got injured towards the end. And then last year, everybody forgot how to tackle people. That's all I can equate it to. People forgot, hey, if they have the ball, it's our job to tackle them. I guess that's
tackle them. They ain't know he's in my zone.
They forgot everything. Hi, how are you?
Hey, neighbor.
Did you guys hear? Have you been watching like Shotty's press conferences?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so the way he was talking about wrap and release in the padded practice. Basically, he got 10 padded practices. He wants them to really get into work. They weren't doing one-on-one drills. They're basically doing more team drills and stuff. But as he put it, he wants them to really wrap up and then, of course, let the guys go as opposed to, usually we just kind of hit the bag and don't do anything. Because I think one of the things that's really lost is the art of tackling.
Absolutely.
So many guys are just looking at just let me throw a shoulder at him and let him go.
Right.
I remember, of course, we were always taught that get your head across the body, basically using that as a stop, get that shoulder and drive through.
Drive through them.
So that way they've got no way to get through. You're not grabbing hold of a jersey. You're not just trying to hit them where they're going to bounce off. You are trying to physically wrap them up, and that they're having an emphasis on that. The other thing that I liked hearing what he was saying is no side shots. We want guys hitting each other right now in training camp straight up where you're able to more gather yourself. Typically, when you get hit in the side, that's when you're going to blow out a knee or, twist an ankle or you're going to get knocked off your feet and stuff. So they have a controlled aggression styles of practices. They want them to hit and be physical, but they also want to make sure they try and hopefully stay healthy to get to training. I mean, through training camp.
I think that's huge, but I also believe, man, that we haven't had guys that once they hit people, they stop. Like, and it's been always, hey, let's get the big hit or the highlight hit. But we haven't seen like when in the past couple of years, when you hit a guy, he absolutely stops in his tracks,
Hmm.
and that sets the tone. But I just think that's what they're getting back to. That clip with Guyton, jacking up Overshown, he got him there and he stopped him. Overshown wasn't going anywhere. He was either going out the club or he was going to stand right there. So I just think they're getting to that point. They're bringing that culture of physicality to this team, and if they can start doing that, that makes all the difference in the world. You're not trying to get ran up on by Tyler Smith, BB, and Booker and those guys. Third, fourth quarter, they get into the second level, and they man linebacker. Hey man, somebody stop these dudes because they come in with bad intentions. So I love what they're doing, getting guys on the move and just run the ball downfield. Listen. I want Rain to win MVP. I think Rain wins MVP if he throws for 35 touchdowns and he wins 13, 14, 15 games. Because
Mhm.
it's going to be his stats are going to be good. Stats were great last year. The year that he lost to Lamar, his stats were just as good, if not better than Lamar. They just because he lost to the Ravens. I think it was the Dolphins game he lost or something. Oh, he can't be MVP. They totally threw that out the window.
Which
So he's
which
going to
which, which it was kind of ass backwards because the Ravens had the best defense in the league at the time, and that's why
true.
they were winning. Like they were
Right.
able to go in and shut down San Francisco and
Right.
punk them and win
Right.
those type of games because you have Rolando. I mean, hold on, what's the linebacker? I can't even think of his name right now, but they had. You know what I'm saying? They had the best linebackers in football at the time with Queen
Right.
and
Yeah, McQueen.
I can't think, I
No,
don't
me
know why I
neither.
can't
But
think of
yeah, right.
yeah, but it had the best linebackers in football. So
Hmm.
they could run the football.
Right.
Lamar wasn't I think Dak had better passing stats, obviously, but it was almost like it was a team award when Lamar won it that year
Absolutely.
when
Hmm.
Dak was
Yep.
really the
Yeah.
MVP.
Absolutely.
Hmm. Yeah,
That's
they
how it
stole
worked
that one
out.
from him.
So right now, I put underneath the ticker right now live Q&A because I know on Mark's channel, a lot of people ask a lot of questions and stuff like that. And on my side, feel free to ask questions too. And super chats on both
Mm,
channels
that's
get
dope.
priority. Obviously we'll stop everything for the super chats, and then for the really good questions, you can just feel free to ask because both of our platforms, all three platforms, we really love the people in the chat in which you guys bring. So, feel free to keep the questions rolling.
No doubt.
Okay, let me set this up.
Oh God.
Somebody said Fant got hurt today.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
did. He did. He got hurt. Yeah, he got hurt. I think he got dinged and they carried him off to the medical tent. And I think I'm not sure if it was a shoulder. I'm not sure, but he did get banged up. And people looked at Fan, it's kind of like the Hunter Lipke emergency policy, break it, break glass and you just bring in Fan. But I'm not wanting anyone to get injured, but I need to find out what Trig is. The biggest thing coming into this camp, we were trying to figure out what Michael Trigg was going to be, and thus far, I
He's
haven't
been.
heard his name. Huh?
You haven't heard his name. I've been seeing him
Haven't.
catch the ball a couple times, and
Okay.
I
All
haven't
right.
heard
Okay.
nothing in the blocking game or anything like that. But also,
Right.
too, like we talked about, if you look at Trigg, who's he playing with? He's not playing with that. He's not in there with
Mm-mm.
Dak a whole
That's
bunch.
true. Yeah, but that tight end room is, you're trying to figure out. Okay, you got Fairweather, who you think he makes a step because of having a
Yeah.
full off season, and then you also and you want Brevin Span Ford. Shotty spoke
And
about it,
all over
said
the
his
place.
name. Yeah,
Hmm.
he's been all over the place. He helps you do that, and because Ford loves Ferg, Ferg ain't going nowhere. So those
It's
three guys right
Schoonmaker
there.
though.
But Schoolmaker is your blocking tight end that God forbid anything happens to span forward. So if you come, he's really good at doing that. You don't have another guy that blocks like that on the roster. Fairweather's a catching tight end. Trigg is a catching tight end, but Ford loves Ferguson. So those guys are just trying to figure out they're going to have to be able good at special teams, or now that Fan's out, hey, can you do what Lipke does? Can you do what Fan does? to get an opportunity to get seen.
I got a question from hating ass Eagles Drew. 'Cause look, I've been watching Eagles Drew spew that hate over here in the chat the whole time. Also, too, for the people that are watching on Twitter too, if you want your questions, go over to YouTube, DMV Fanatic, or at Cowboys Joe Boo, and answer your questions in the chat. But he said, question: Dallas top 5 offense, but 18th in the red zone. Offense not really as good as you think. Do you agree?
I don't. I think what ends up happening is that you started taking more chances. The first 6 weeks of the season last year, they were absolutely explosive. But then they started taking more chances at the end of the year because they knew they had to score because they had paper mache for
Oh,
defense.
they had to
Like,
score
I
every
mean,
time.
dude, I mean, it's hard to listen. It's hard to be perfect, man. You know what I'm saying? Like in Friday Night Lights, be perfect. All that. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to be perfect, man. So knowing that you had to go out and score every time you got the football, it just put more pressure on them to do stuff. It reminds me back when they played the Bears game early down there. They turned around and got cute. Instead of running the football, they tried to throw it in. And every time they had a chance
Mm-hmm.
to play, they just had to score. And I think that's what pushed it to be lower than it was. If you would have had the same type of red zone efficiency all year, you probably been a lot worse. But I think because you had to take more chances. So I do think that the offense is electric. I mean, we showed y'all when y'all came to town, y'all was up by like 3 touchdowns. We came and walked that ass down. You remember that, don't you?
Yeah.
Eagle Drew? You forgot. Oh, you
Of course he
forgot.
do.
Oh,
Of
okay. I didn't
course
want
he
to make
do.
sure. Didn't want to make sure. I didn't want his memory to get too short. You know what
Ooh.
I'm saying?
That defense was so bad. It's like we have to score a touchdown every time. There's so much pressure. You could never just go ahead and play ball control. See, that's where, the Eagles don't realize because they'll tell you how great Jalen Hurts is. You got up 10 points in the first half. You had a defense where you could just coast and literally not make a yard in the second half and still hold on and win. We never
Win the
had that
game.
luxury. And you got a
No.
lot of takeaways, and people don't understand how important a takeaway is. That is literally like money in the bank. A takeaway can be a 14-point swing because you're preventing them from getting a touchdown. Maybe you get one off of it. But here's what's
Right.
crazy. The average offensive possession, it varies year to year, ends up in a score 35 to 45% of the time.
Mm.
Do you know what it is when you get a takeaway?
About
What's that?
60% of the time.
About 65% of the time, it ends up in a
Right.
score.
Yeah.
And so the Cowboys were second worst in taking the football away. The only team that was worse last year was the Jets. So when
Right.
you look at a team like Seattle, which was second in taking the football away, when you look at a team like the Bears, that was number one in taking the football away, you're giving your offense the advantage because, as a defensive lineman, man, you just got finished, man. You're off the side of the field, taking your helmet off. You got yourself some Gatorade. Coach is telling you what's going on. And all of a sudden you hear defense. What? Oh, shit. Where the
Right.
fuck is my helmet? Now
Right.
I'm running out on the
Yeah.
field and we're disorganized. And that's
Yep.
why you always see big plays to start after a turnover.
Yep. Change possession, momentum, attitude. Because I don't care what you say, man. Why he can't? Man, why he throw that? What's he doing? They fumbled the ball, man. Come on. So you already got an attitude. You come on the field, and now
Yeah.
you get to take advantage of just the human factor of it. Like, man, they get. So you got to think about the pressure that the Cowboys offense was on all year to say we got to go make plays because these dudes over here suck. And that's that guy they definitely moved last year. So I think Shotty by getting, and if you saw today from the clips, getting the running backs out quicker, then they would get
Yeah.
the ball out and different things. I think Shotty's trying to evolve this offense because everybody saw it last year. You already know you got the Corvettes on the outside. Who else can we get incorporated into this thing?
Yep.
Man, hey, look, I'm looking on Mark's channel. I don't see a lot of people asking questions, but hey,
I think we've
set it
answered them
off.
all.
Eagles Drew got y'all can't let Eagles Drew just like dominate this, bro. Yeah, like somebody got to come over here and say something. Eagles Drew just is just running amok over here on my side.
It wasn't no. And listen, first off, it ain't no parade when we whoop your ass. That's a common day thing that we do. Don't get it twisted, man. We whoop y'all ass on a regular basis. The king of the NFC East has been Rain Dakota Prescott. So don't act like, oh, it was such a no. Y'all came in the building. Y'all was talking cold cocaine cash trash
Went up
in the building.
21-0.
Went up 21 point. We came and bust your ass, and you had to take that L. So it wasn't no parade. It's just a normal thing that we do. It's what Rain does. So, hey man,
Hold it,
hey man,
but
hey man,
you know,
yeah.
Eagles.
I mean, come on, bro. Come on, don't do that, Drew. Just take that hot L. Carry your ass on to the back. We'll see you in 7 weeks. Don't come in with that bullshit tonight now. Come on, champ.
No, because I'm talking to Philly 500 and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, well, you only got that victory because we took our foot off the gas." It's like you couldn't put it back on then.
Yeah, if we were that, I mean,
They ran out
remember
of gas.
Wait a minute. So,
that was still a terrible defense. That was still the worst. That's probably the second historically the worst Cowboy defense ever. And you still couldn't put them out of their misery. Rain bust that ass like he normally do. Respect the four, all right, and we'll see you in week 7 in your building. See,
It's
I get
actually,
to I get to talk trash like this because my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law are Eagles fans. So I keep my clips loaded talking about them. You know what I'm saying?
and here's the funny thing about it too. As bad as the defense was, we played them in week 1. We thought the defense was good because of how bad
Right,
their offense was.
right. But Drew don't remember that. He don't remember that.
Yeah, they don't
You
remember
know,
that.
he don't
Nope.
remember that. If CD don't have 8 drops, we
uh,
sweep them. Right? You know what
I'm
I'm
still
saying? If
mad at
CD don't have
CD.
8 drops. Yeah. But I mean,
And Ferg. It was Ferg too. Ferg in that end zone got the
yeah.
clappies.
Yeah, Schoon had a chance to catch one on the sideline. That'd have made his Cowboy career, but it happens. It happens.
Yeah, it
No
happens.
more questions. And no more questions, man.
We ain't got no more questions. We
Ain't
ain't
got
got
no
no more
questions.
questions. Eagles Drew over here talking about Gotti 2 of 5 in the playoffs. But hey, I guess they got the best running back of all time at quarterback.
Did you hear Shady on Speakeasy saying that because they were asking about can Dak Prescott be MVP, and then he said, "Man, come on, man, you gotta do something with your defense." It's like so Dak's got to take care of the defense too to get MVP.
Hey, bro, Speakeasy just hey at this point. I get it though. They trying to be Shannon. They trying to be Unk and Ocho.
Uh-huh.
So they're trying to compete with that. So they got to come out with clips and all of that type of stuff. But
I,
their counterpart over there, and I think Tuck brought this up. What's the guy's name? Chase, the quarterback guy. Is it Chase Daniels or something like that? He loves that.
Oh
They
yeah,
always got something to say. But when Acho was on the show with Joy,
yeah.
he was loving that. Now all of a sudden we got our own platform. We got to get people over here. We just gotta say the most off the wall stuff. Like
That they
first off,
do.
first off, Shady is the worst dude on this platform that's ever
ass
given a
ass.
mic. I mean, just terrible, bro. And none of the stuff that he says makes it seem like he had any idea what he was talking about. And he was an absolute amazing player, hands down. When we went to when we were in the process with my son, I had to get that guy honest. He was a great player, but when it comes to speaking on about players and things of that nature, he sounds really goofy.
He doesn't do
And
homework at all.
uh, dude, I don't think he went to school, but nevertheless, whatever he's doing right now is terrible. So Rain's got Rain to win the MVP for Dallas Cowboy. I don't think in the history of the NFL there's ever been the quarter for the Cowboys has been the MVP of the league.
Not.
I mean, never. So he's gonna have to just win all the big games he's gotten. This year, he's got the second back half of the season. He's got nothing but playoff teams. So he gets through that, makes a great run, and then we'll find out when it happens, man.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. But what you said, DMV, he is setting up to make a real run at MVP this year. The way he looks right now, he's making a real case for it right now. So let's see what happens, man.
Yeah, let's just hope he's not peaking early. Peaking in
I don't
training
think it's.
camp.
I don't think it's just peaking early. I think you get him a top 12 defense. He's got a shot at winning it. We just have
Yeah.
never won a Super Bowl without a top 5 defense. If
And
that turns around and happens, go ahead.
no, you finish your point because I got a point after what you're talking about. You get a top 12 defense, what?
So you get a top 12 defense, you can get to game 19. You get a top 5 defense, you can hoist a Lombardi because that's what we've done in the history
Yeah, you're right about
of
that.
the franchise.
Now, I
We've
hate to
never won by that.
throw cold water on y'all, but no team has had the 32nd defense and turned around and won the Super Bowl the next year.
Okay.
But
I
then
think the
again,
Patriots one
there's a
year had a
first for
bad
everything.
defense.
Okay. How bad was the Patriots defense? Well, they didn't win the Super Bowl. They got to the Super Bowl.
No, they won. I'm talking about when they beat Seattle. I think they had a really bad defense. I think it was like 31st or something like that. And it just so happened that Russell threw that pick on the
I mean,
goal
hey,
line.
listen, man, whoever that they weren't supposed to win that game, but nevertheless, they did win. But I and what I think my man was putting about is this the last year for Rain? No, I think the problem is, especially in Dallas, they had the fortune of having 20 plus years
Mhm.
of amazing, competent quarterback play, and both times they lucked into it. You lucked into
Oh,
Tony Romo. You lucked into him. And you tried. The crazy part with Rain is you didn't even draft him with a draft pick. You got him with a compensatory pick. So you have been super duper fortunate
and
with
after
that.
the two guys you wanted were already drafted.
Got you.
It's kind of
And
like,
so yeah.
who's left at quarterback? Oh, okay, we'll get this
Oh
guy.
yeah, we'll
Yeah.
take him. Right. And he turns around and be, an 11 year, a starter for you for 11 years.
I'm
This
not
year,
sure I trust the Cowboys to draft a quarterback when you start thinking about Johnny Manziel, Paxton Lynch,
Well,
Connor Cook, the
they did
guys
at
that they
least
target.
draft Dak. We can say that it might
no,
not have been how we won it, but they did
no,
draft
yeah,
him.
yeah, but no, but what I'm saying, DMV is they didn't even use their draft pick to get him. They used a compensatory pick to get him. I mean, they're like, all right, this is a throwaway pick. Let's just go get him. But I think this year there's at least there's 5 quarterbacks right off the top of my head that I can give you that are gonna go high and gonna have a lot of people looking at them. Mensa in Miami, Sam Levitt, Arch is gonna be looked at. The best quarterback I think in all of college football. And I'm not taking any credit for him. One of the coaches that I talked to a lot, Coach Elmo, who coached at Virginia Tech, and different places. The Carr kid at Notre Dame, he thinks he is the best quarterback in the country, and so
Mm.
you looking at that. And I think I just named you 4 guys, and then there's going to be somebody else that pops out of nowhere that we're going to look at. So you got 4 guys in the first round. Chambliss, yeah. So Mensa at Miami, Chambliss at Ole Miss, Sam Levitt, Carr at Notre Dame, and Arch Manning. That's 5 right on the top. That's just us talking here now. So this is the year that you want to be able to do it. But if you turn around and give away that third round pick for Brooks, now you're looking at the next level tier down. And whatever quarterback you do decide to go get, you're going to want him to sit at least 2 years, inside the system. And are you going to be able to keep Dorsey? See, there's so many factors to it. That's why it's been such a blessing to end up getting Rain when you got him. And he was able to come in and do what he did in 16 with a guy who never wanted to work out like he should have. You know,
Alan
you know,
Williams says, which side of the ball plays better for Dallas?
this year,
Mm-hmm.
um, for me,
Offense.
for me to make a deep run, it's got to be my defense. I think coming out the gate, though, I think my offense is going to be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's got to happen.
I say Yo Gotti offense.
Okay.
Yo Gotti, not the
Okay.
rapper, but Yo greatest offense. What is it? Greatest offense? What?
I don't know.
I forget what
What
it
did he
is.
say? What did he say? Greatest offense? Wait,
There is greatest offense. There is.
offense there
That's
is.
what
Yeah.
Gotti said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo Gotti. That's a.
Okay.
I think it's the
Hey,
offense. What about you, Mark?
okay.
Tiebreaker.
On which side plays better? I think it's going to be the offense without a doubt.
Okay. Okay.
The offense has the advantage because they've been together. They all know
Right.
each other. Okay,
Yeah, they
there's
know him.
cohesion, and
Yeah,
you
familiarity. Yeah.
basically you've got veterans. You've got so many young guys that are going to be playing significant time on defense. There's going to be mistakes that are made, and we all know, or at least the educated football fan out there understands that it's not just the quarterback on both sides of the field. It only takes one guy to fuck up a play. One guy
True.
holds, one guy jumps offside, one guy misses a block, one guy drops a pass. Any of those things happen, or quarterback misses the pass, the play doesn't succeed. You got to have 11 guys doing the right thing to have a play succeed. That's a lot.
Here, I got a quick question. If we don't go get Brooks, right, and we go into the season with Barham as the green dot, how would you feel?
I would think he earned it
Yeah.
because
You
there was
think he
so
earned?
many
Well, yeah.
people
Mm-hmm.
that had the shot at it. And I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like you had Overshown, you had Caleb Downs, you
Thompson.
know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Thompson. Like, and I don't think Winters is one of those guys, but you got to remember he sat next to a guy who
Yeah.
is probably the
The,
best
the
green dot
ultimate,
in the
the
league.
ultimate green dot. Yeah, the
Yeah,
And,
ultimate
and,
green dot.
and
Yeah.
again, the thing that people don't also understand is how one position complements the other. DMV, you've
Right.
always said when you control the middle of the field, you control the field. For
Yeah.
me, I've always said the biggest bang for the buck is your interior defensive lineman. If you've got a
Mm-hmm.
big nasty in the middle, he helps all three levels. Because
Yeah.
yeah.
if he can hold up and take on that double team, that means somebody does not have somebody that's going to
Running
be
for yeah,
covering him.
and
And the
yep.
linebacker hopefully is got clear daylight because that's what your job is. There's no glory on the defensive line interior. Your
Mm-hmm.
job is to be a wrecking ball to hold up the offensive lineman. If he
Absolutely.
can get a push up the middle, it makes the edge rushers that much more effective because the quarterback can't step up in that pocket. If
True.
he ends up being there and gets that big paw up there, the quarterback does not have the sight line to see the guy in the middle. So many times it's been like the parting of the Red Sea. Our edge rushers are doing damage, but it's like, where's our defensive line? And the
Defensive line. Yeah.
quarterback
The
either
interior
takes
guy.
off, Jalen Hurts can take
Mm-hmm.
off up the middle, or they get a clear shot for an easy pass in the middle. And if that
Okay.
guy is doing all those things, it makes your secondary better because they're not having to hold up for 4, 5, 6 seconds.
That's a long
And
time.
that's where we finally, for the first time, DMV, I was like, okay, we drafted a defensive lineman. Okay, Mozzie sucked. But I was just happy that they're finally saying, maybe this is important that we need
I
interior
understood it. The
defensive
message.
linemen.
Yeah, sure.
And finally, we have some big nasties that can be in the middle that hopefully help all those other levels.
Okay. That's what's up.
You want to know
I
something
got it.
crazy?
What's
And I'm
that?
gonna say this, and fans are gonna kill me for saying this, but Mozzie on this defense as a rotational guy would be
He'd be okay.
it'd be solid. But that's just what he was. We drafted a rotational guy with that pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't think he loved football like that. I don't think he loved him. I don't
I
think he
saw
loved
that
him
look on
enough.
your face, like, don't you bring up that damn Mozzie.
That man, I don't
His
think that
mom's
brother
real
loved him.
nice. I actually was at training camp and I was actually in the swimming pool and she said, "You're Mark Holmes." She said, "I want to
Oh
thank
my
you for
goodness.
defending my son." I was like, okay.
Wow.
So I watched
Yeah.
practice a couple of times with her and things. I had hoped that he was going to turn around because he was always the first guy on the field and the last one to leave. And I said, okay, he's finally getting it that he's got to, show up and put in the work. Just didn't work out. Tony
It just
Boo,
didn't work out.
what player would you trade for? That's the
Oh,
question.
trade for?
What player would you trade for? Who would you like to trade? Is that Max Crosby? Is that Jordan Brooks? Is it somebody else? Is it Montez Sweat?
Okay. If it had to be those three guys,
No, it can
if
be
it,
anybody. I'm just throwing out some
okay.
examples.
My tier is like this. If I'm gonna go get somebody, um, I'll go get Brooks first because Brooks helps me because I have so much youth in my middle linebacker, and I need a cerebral guy who's got snaps as my middle linebacker. Then if I had to go for my next tier guy, I would get Sweat because I need some more assurance at my defensive end spot. with him, and he's younger. He's younger, not as injured, and he's worked inside of Parker's defense under Fangio. So it would be then, and then Max Crosby would be my last guy because of the kind of compensation I would have to give up for him. I don't want to give that much up.
I'm
I'm
with you
not
on
just
that one.
I'm not I'm looking at not just 26, but I'm looking at 27, 28, and going forward. I want to win with young guys. When we won with young guys. We won with a rotational of guys that were young. You did not Max Crosby to me isn't Charles Haley when you got Charles Haley.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I needed Charles Haley was my last piece for me to get over the top. Max Crosby is a great addition, but I also had a bevy of dudes to run with that. Okay. And I
Mm-hmm.
know most people ain't gonna like that because like, oh, Max Crosby put us over the top. When you ended up bringing Charles Haley here for damn near next to nothing and didn't have to pay a whole lot of money for him when you got him, he was the icing on the cake of that defense
Yeah.
because you already had everything else there. You had a rotation of defensive guys. You had Jeff Cole on the outside. You had Maryland. You had Henny. You had those guys. You had a bevy of guys.
Mm-hmm.
He just was able to be a terror. And for us to get this year, will be really really good. Next year, then you start making that piece. Okay, do I need to go get that guy to be the centerpiece and to finish this thing off and go win the whole thing? That's just me.
What
Mm-hmm.
about you, Mark?
Who would I trade for? I'm still more of the way I look at it is you want to get as many really good players as possible. Okay, you've seen teams go out and say, "Let's go ahead and buy the farm." I don't think the Rams are going to Super Bowl. Myles Garrett's a great addition and stuff, but I don't think that that's going to be what's going to get them there. I think they've got a tough road to hoe because of the division and everything else. Because by the time we play them, I believe we play a Thursday night game before that one. But they're in the middle of playing like San Francisco, Seattle, and stuff like that. And they're on a short week for that one. And so I look at that and say they're going to be battered and bruised when we play them. And we kind of have more Thursday night in the bye week late in the season. We could be actually getting some momentum going at the end of the year. But be that as it may, I would like to see the linebacking shored up because I really don't know. Overshown, yeah, he looks good right now. He's always looked good until he's got a cast on. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
He always looks good till he's got a cast on.
Hey, that's a bar, bro.
Okay. No. Okay. To me, every time we have linebackers, we always have guys that are fragile. You remember when we brought in Anthony Barr? We had Leighton Vander Esch as the only guy that had more than 50 tackles in their career. And you knew that Leighton Vander Esch was always one hit away from being injured.
Man.
And so it's like, I don't want to go back to relying on a guy that we know has a lot of talent. Vander Esch had a lot of talent too, but your talent doesn't mean shit if you're on the sideline.
True.
So
Facts.
if I get somebody like a Jordan Brooks and it's a 3rd round pick, okay. Hell, I gave up 4 for a Jonathan Mingo. I gave up 4 for Trigger Trey. Shit.
Trigger
okay. Trey.
Yeah. And Mingo.
And I said Mingo.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah, he said, yeah.
So
Trey
you're telling me
right.
I had to
I can get a Pro Bowl linebacker that's only $13 million? You mean the same amount of money I paid Michael Gallup?
Listen, I'm telling you,
okay.
if I'm going,
let me do that. And then I still say, go get Von Miller. Guy is motivated to be here because he's got his business here in Texas, where he's got his chicken farms. Shout out to All Natural Growing Chicken. He's got the chicken coops that move every 2 days. So that way they're eating fresh grass and shit. He's got Mama still in Dallas and she's never missed a game. He wants to play in front of Dallas. You talk about a guy who's motivated? He would be motivated to show up right there.
25 snaps. Hey, I'm with you. 25 snaps.
And here's the thing. He's gone through shit, with because he had what was it, performance enhancing drugs and stuff and domestic violence maybe early in his career. So he's been on that side and turning it around winning Super Bowls. He's a guy who can mentor these young guys.
Yeah.
And
I
he
mean,
would probably be cheap. Okay? So if you're telling me go trade for Max Crosby or trade for Jordan Brooks and sign Von Miller, I think that outweighs Max Crosby.
hey man, I'm all in on Von Miller now. From
Yeah,
just
I was always all in on them. But you know what it reminds me of? Like, remember when the Mavs won that championship? I think it was back in 2010. Was it 2010 or 2011?
Mhm.
Um, when they had Jason Kidd playing point guard. A lot of people don't remember when Jason Kidd was playing point guard,
Yeah, I remember that.
but you knew as a NBA person how great he was with the Nets. You just
Mhm.
he carried his team to the finals. You know, he
Mhm.
did all those things, and this was the last act of his career. And
Yeah.
I think that Von Miller has that opportunity with that 25 snaps a game to come into Dallas and be the J Kid of that pass rush.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you're still going. Yeah, you're just going to have to deal with him, his technique. He's going to get benefited out of certain things, and he's going to be refreshed. So I definitely, and yeah, I'm with you guys on that. And when we first said it, I'm like, oh man, I don't want to hear that. But now that I start seeing, and the way they practice today, and so the next big practice I'm looking for is the inter squad practice against the Saints,
Uh-huh.
and then if they thumping like that in that one, go give me Vaughn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If they come out and blanket the Saints or really push the Rams to the point that it's a good fight, go give me Vaughn.
Got you.
Hey Vaughn, meet me in Frisco. I got you.
And
I'll
with
bring
that
you
being,
straight to. Yeah,
I about to
yeah.
say, and with that being said, I know we closing in on the end of the show. Mark, I'm gonna let you close it out.
Okay. Well, let me say, first of all, tell everybody where to find y'all. Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
you go first. Set it off.
And listen, you can find me at Frankly Football, man, where our motto is coaching matters. We give rookies a pass. And listen, in four we trust. That's our motto, man. Just two guys, man, who love talking Cowboy football, man. We've been around for a while, man. We got a good following inside the community, man. Just trying to continue to grow and be better, man. But you can catch us there at Frankly Football. Frankly Football with the letter for the last L's of one. And you can always find me at Playmaker 8602, man. Definitely glad to have had an opportunity to now start and build my relationship with Mark, man. Thank you for having me. Definitely want to get back on and kick it with you. And I talk to
Definitely.
John damn near every day. Like me and John don't talk, dang, I could give his government out here. But if I don't talk to DMV at least once a day, man, and at least once a day, it's something wrong. So definitely thank you for having me.
No, I'm happy to have you on, man. It's great to meet you.
No doubt.
Okay. You guys can find me on X at DMV Fanatic 1. Go check out dmvfanatic.com. And I am DMV Fanatic on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. That's
Right.
where you guys can find me. And on Mark's channel, I already know I'm family, so everybody already know where I am uh on that channel anyway. But for the people that have been living under a rock, that's where you can find me.
That's Eagle fans. They live up under a rock. All right, good people. As always, I appreciate everybody being here, and we will see you all soon. This is great to be alive right now. The Cowboys. This feels totally different than anything that I've felt at any point with the Dallas Cowboys here. No
Wow.
drama and actually excitement on the field.
Right.
Peace
Right.
out, and I'll see you soon.
Peace.
The party's over. They say that all good things must end.
Okay.
Dog.
Call
That's
it
a wrap, man.
Hey man,
Yeah.
tonight.
thank y'all for
The
having me, man.
party's
Thank you for having me.
over, and tomorrow